Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking raw source code and turning it into a step-by-step coding tutorial made exactly for beginners. We're going to take you from foundational database concepts right up to calculating actual employee paychecks. If you've ever looked at your data retrieval and thought, man, this is just a bit too static, well, you are in the exact right place. So let's dive right in by asking a really fundamental question. You already know how to pull data out of a table using a basic select statement, right? But what happens when basic retrieval just isn't enough? Like, what happens when we need to inject some smart conditional logic directly into our queries so we aren't forced to export everything to a spreadsheet just to do the math? Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the SQL case statement. Second, we'll practice some simple logic using age brackets. Third, we'll tackle the pay increase problem. And finally, we'll actually calculate some salaries and bonuses. All right, part 1, the SQL case statement. Let's uncover that missing logic layer in your database queries. This is the tool, the absolute game changer that elevates you from simply reading data to actually evaluating and transforming it on the fly. Basically, a case statement is SQL's version of automated if this, then that logic, applied directly to your data retrieval. Think of it like giving your database a specific set of instructions. You're telling it, hey, look at this piece of data. If it meets condition A, do this thing. If it meets condition B, do that thing instead. And the best part? The whole shebang happens seamlessly inside your select statement, which gives you incredible power right at the source. Moving right along to part 2, simple logic with age brackets. Okay, to get a feel for this syntax, let's play around in a simple sandbox using an employee demographics table. We're going to build this statement step by step. So, a case statement always opens with the word, you guessed it, case. Then we list out our conditions. Step 1, when the age is less than or equal to 30, then we label them young. Step 2, when the age is between 31 and 50, then we label them old. Step 3, when the age is greater than or equal to 50, then, we use the slightly cheeky goodnight label our source material actually uses for anyone over 50. And finally, step 4 is absolutely crucial. You have to close out your logic block by typing end, and here we're naming this brand new column age_bracket by using the as keyword. And looking here, this brilliantly illustrates the before and after of our data. Your query returns the first name, last name, and age, just like a normal select statement. But then, boom, it generates this completely new age_bracket column. It evaluates that 28-year-old and automatically outputs young. It spots the 45-year-old and outputs old. It sees the 55-year-old and says, good night. We're automatically categorizing our colleagues into distinct brackets, and we're doing it without altering the underlying raw data at all. All right. Let's step it up. Part 3, the pay increase problem. Now that you've got the basic syntax down, let's heighten the stakes and apply this exact same logic to a real, high-value business scenario, the annual pay increase. This is exactly where SQL transitions from just being a neat organizational tool to a critical business driver. Imagine HR hands you these specific rules for the employee salary table. If an employee's salary is under $50,000, they get a 5% increase. If it's over $50,000, they get a 7% increase. Oh, and furthermore, anyone working in the finance department, they get a 10% bonus. So how do you automate all this math so you're not stuck calculating it row by tedious row? Which brings us to part 4, calculating those salaries and bonuses. It's time to actually calculate those new salaries and department bonuses by stacking our case logic. Now, what's totally crucial to understand here is that the salary bumps and the department bonuses are entirely independent conditions, right? An employee gets a raise based strictly on how much money they currently make, but they get a bonus based strictly on which department they work in. Because of that, we can't just smash these into one giant condition. We actually need 2 completely separate case statements to generate 2 separate columns. So let's tackle that first case statement for the base salary increase. For the first condition, we write, when salary is less than $50,000, then we take their current salary and we add the result of their salary multiplied by 0.05. We are literally doing standard arithmetic right inside the then clause. This is going to output their current base pay plus that 5% increase. Conversely, right beneath that, we write our second condition. When salary is greater than $50,000, then we take their salary and add their salary multiplied by 0.07, and that triggers the higher 7% bump. We then wrap this whole block up by typing end as new salary. Boom, our first logic block is totally complete. Now for the really exciting part, that 10% reward reserved strictly for the finance department. Since this is an entirely new column we want to generate, we're going to start a brand new case statement right after our first one. We write this second, entirely separate case statement that checks if the department ID equals 6, which, is the internal ID for finance. We literally just write, when deep_ID equals 6, then salary multiplied by 0.10. And we close it out with end as bonus. Notice how we aren't adding this to the base salary here. We're just calculating the raw bonus amount so it can sit in its own dedicated column. Just like that, in one single query, we've dynamically calculated custom raises and isolated departmental bonuses. How cool is that? You've just gone from understanding a basic select query to writing multi-layered automated financial logic, with the power of the case statement now firmly in your toolkit to manipulate raw data into meaningful, calculated paychecks. Well, what complex business logic are you going to automate next?